Okay, so this is going to be another quick video. In this video we're going to talk about components and then a little bit about Tailwind, which is what we use for CSS here. Now before I really get into it, this is not really a how to make components because I've already covered that in the React playlist. This is more of a why create components. So before we begin, let's create a folder for our components. Now inside of the source folder we should have two folders here. One is app, which is where all of our page files are and our routes and stuff. And then we have one called pages, which is where our API is inside of. And we're going to create a third folder in here called components. Now you could create this components folder inside of app here, but it'll become a bit messy that way, so rather just keep the app folder for your actual routes and then keep a separate components folder here for the components that you build. Now everyone should know what components are by now. They're just pieces of code that we can inject into our pages later. And let's look at an example of why this might be useful. So this is a real world example. So this is the site I'm planning on building right now. And you can see it has a top navigation bar section and then a bottom footer section, and then the middle is for the content. Now what I actually thought about doing is not using the navigation bar at the top and instead using one of these hero sections like this. So it will just have the name of the website on the left here and then some info on the right hand side like this. Now what might happen here is that I have this hero section on the home page, and then on any additional pages I end up having this navigation bar. And that just doesn't look consistent, because when you go to a different page it's going to show you this navigation bar at the top, and then when you go to the home page it's going to show you this hero section at the top. So I don't like that it's not consistent. So what I might want to do is add the hero section and the navigation bar to the home page, and then on any additional page I can just not show this hero section and just show the navigation bar at the top. So there's a lot of decisions to make about the design here, and usually if I was designing this in plain HTML I'd have to first try it out with this navigation bar at the top, and then if I don't like that I'd have to either delete that code or comment it out and then add the hero section here. But with NextJS or React as well, you can actually put the code for this separately in a component and just use one tag to include that on your page. And the same with the hero section here. So when we're deciding which one to use, we only need to use one tag to bring them in and take them out. So I'm just going to show you how to do that quickly. In the components section here, I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to call this main_navigation_bar.tsx. So the reason why I'm giving it such a long name is because I want it to be obvious what this component is used for. Remember, since we're building a huge multi-page app, we may end up with like over 100 components in here, and it'll become really confusing to remember what each component is for if you give them short names. So make it very obvious what this component is used for. So in here we just do the regular stuff: export default function, and whatever you write here for the function name is going to be the name of the tag when you import it. So I'm just going to leave this exactly as it is, but I'll use capital letters here. Okay, and then we just need to do our return here. So in here for right now I'm just going to put an H1. I'm not going to do any actual design in this playlist. That's just because this is not really an HTML or CSS playlist. We're more just looking at NextJS as a framework. So in here I'm just going to write code with me. And okay, to actually use this in a page I'm going to go into the app folder here, and then let's go to the home page here, and at the top I want to use this. So to use it we first need to import it, so I'm going to do import, and then after we type import we need to type the name of the function, which is main navigation bar here. And you can see here that it's using this @ for the location. So basically if we didn't use @ what we would need to do is right now we're in the app folder, so we need a // to go one folder back, and then we need to go into the components folder, so components, and then we can find that file like this, main navigation bar. Now instead of doing that, because remember you may have this file inside of another folder in here for a route, and you don't want to go back so many folders just to it's really complicated to type it out like this. So that's why using that import alias that we set up at the beginning is really useful. So we just need to do @ which represents the source folder, and then we use a / here, and we can directly go from the source folder into the components folder, and then we can find our file in there. So using @ is really useful here, import aliases, and then we can just use that tag here at the top. So it's a normal HTML tag, and it will be called main navigation bar. Again, it's called main navigation bar because that's what we named it here. And remember, this doesn't have to be the same as the file name. The only place we write the file name is over here where we're saying where we're importing it from. So okay, once we have that, we can just close this tag, and now we're getting an error here. That's just because we're returning 2 tags here, and JSX expects us to only return 1 tag. So I'm just going to wrap this in a div here. And now that error should be fixed, so I'm just going to neaten this up. And now if we view our page, I'm going to run this, so npm run dev. We can now see that it says code with me at the top here. So this is successfully pulling in the navigation bar component from this file here. And yeah, that's how you would use components. Now I'm just going to talk quickly about how Tailwind works, because I know we're using it in this package and some people may be a bit interested in it. So to use Tailwind, all you need to do is use the class name here. A class name is the same as saying class in regular HTML. And then for parameters here, we have special stuff which comes from Tailwind. So for example, I can say text dash, and you can see some options popped up here. So I can say like text amber 300, and if I save this and head back, now we can see it added some color here. And then we can also do something like font extra bold, and yeah, it will make the font bold now. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with Tailwind. I recommend you search on Google for Tailwind and find all the stuff you can do with it. It's more than what I can cover in this series, so yeah. Basically all you need to do is add in class names. You don't need to write CSS yourself. You can even do more complex stuff like setting up flex boxes and aligning stuff and all of that without writing the CSS yourself. So that's why I like using Tailwind. I also like using Bootstrap, but since NextJS comes with Tailwind already built into it, I just use it anyway. But yeah, this has been how components work and a little bit about Tailwind, and I'll see you guys in the next video.